2 weeks later, I landed in San Francisco. It was past midnight on a crisp night in early October. I was worn out from the flight, but Trevor had texted and asked me to meet him at work. So I picked up the rental car GQ had paid for and crossed the Bay Bridge into Oakland. The city's downtown was deserted and spooky, with abandoned buildings and dark parking lots. The traffic lights all blinked yellow. But when I pulled up to the bar, I heard music, a muffled roar coming up from the inside. A sandwich board on the sidewalk read, "The Ruby Room." Beneath it, someone had written in chalk, "Come drown your sorrows in beer." I parked a few feet in back of some motorcycles, put on my jacket, and pulled out my phone. I was texting Trevor when the bar door swung open and 5 or 6 bikers spilled out. They wore black leather vests over black leather jackets with the East Bay Rats logo, flanked top and bottom by the club's name, sewn on the back of their vests. The men were enormous, with furrowed brows, slicked back hair, and tattoos. They were smiling, high-fiving, visibly happy, visibly drunk. They looked like 21st century Vikings, and when I got out of the car, they ignored me. "Trevor?" I said. One of the Vikings turned toward me and let a few beats go by before answering. "Trevor's inside," said the man. "Who are you?" I told him, and found that he knew me already. "He's the writer," another rat said. "This is the kid Trevor bullied?" "The way Trevor remembers, this guy bullied him." I smiled at the thought, and then the rats smiled, started laughing, and formed a huddle around me. Joking and jostling, they hustled me into the bar. The Ruby Room's walls were done in red velvet. Red light bulbs hung from the ceiling, and off to our left a long wooden counter with red padding around its edges stretched several yards towards the back of the bar. To our right there was a wooden partition, into which the image of a blindfolded woman had been carved. The Ruby Room had once been a courthouse bar for lawyers and prosecutors who worked around the corner at the Alameda County Courthouse. Lady Justice in her blindfold was all that was left of that history now. But there was a bar stool behind the partition and a vitrine above it with photos and newspaper articles, some of which dated back to the middle of the previous century. The most recent clip, from the East Bay Express, was an award citation that read, "Best of the East Bay, 2006. Best Motorcycle Club, East Bay Rats. Most Wrathful Things on 2 Wheels." The bar was packed with punk rockers, women in baby doll dresses, bikers, and tough guys who might have been boxers or thugs. Some off-duty cops were set up in a booth by the door, the rats introduced me, and the cops, who were friendly enough, bought a round, then 2 rounds, then 3. As I drank them, I almost forgot about Trevor. At some point a scuffle broke out in the back of the bar. The rats kept on joking and jostling each other. The cops didn't even look up. But way in the back the crowd parted, and there, in the center, I saw him. Trevor was dressed, like the rest of the rats, in black leather. Like the other rats, he was enormous, almost twice the size of the man he was holding, with a clenched fist up against the bar's back wall. He had closely cropped hair, a goatee, almond-shaped eyes, and an aquiline nose. There was nothing familiar about him, I thought, and yet I knew him immediately. I watched as the smaller man put his head down. Trevor let go, and the crowd closed around them. I got up and excused my way back to the end of the bar, but when I got there, both men were gone. In front of me, there was a DJ booth. To my left was a passage that led to the bar's back room, which was dark and smoky with wood paneling, banquettes, and a pool table. I walked in, and through the smoke I saw him again. Trevor was sitting alone at one of the banquettes, lit by the glow of his cell phone. When he put the phone down, I felt mine buzz. "Here?" Trevor had texted. I walked over to him and said, "Here."